Welcome to Lawson Talks Ball, where pigskin is life. Thank you for my fans who came over from the other channel. And urgent breaking news, Sean McDermott fired as head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And I want to co-sign this move. I want to vibe with it. Anyone who's been following my other channel a long time knows that I'm not a fan of McDermott's scheme. I haven't been a fan of his game management, especially in playoff games. Those two games against the Chiefs always come to mind and always come to haunt me. But listen, I feel like he was a little bit of a sacrificial lamb this year. I feel like it's a year too late. What candidates are on the board? And honestly, this McDermott firing would make 100% sense to me if Brandon Beane, the GM, was fired. I do not like the way this roster has been constructed. I've been on the record 3, 4, even 5 years saying it. Now I know Beane gets to ride high on drafting Josh Allen, and he will get on his high horse. We've seen him do it before. We've seen all the excuses. But this isn't 80s. This isn't early 90s. When do you give Josh Allen a wide receiver one? When does he take responsibility for some of these wide receivers he's drafted? When does he take responsibility for the roster construction? One thing we've always known about the Buffalo Bills, and I guess you can blame McDermott, is they like to be small in the front seven, be very quick and attack you in waves and play a lot of different coverages. Well, when you're small at defensive tackle, what do teams like to do? They like to get down and they like to pound it down your throat. Something we've seen the Bills team be susceptible to time in and time again. So I'm not trying to give McDermott an out here. The game management wasn't good enough. It just wasn't. And someone had to fall on the sword here. But I think both Beane and McDermott should be out. Because at the end of the day, you have the thoroughbred. You have the god that is Josh Allen playing quarterback. But I do have to ask a question. Did Josh Allen did Sean McDermott turn it over 4 or 5 times against the Broncos? I mean, Josh Allen has to take a little bit of that on the chin. And we also saw Sean McDermott coach a miraculous game on the road to the Jacksonville Jags. Do I think the Jags coached a great game getting away from the run? No. But we know that's how you attack the Bills, and the blueprint's been simple. I wonder how much of that is McDermott's scheme. I wonder how much of that is Brandon Beane. I lean more towards 80% Brandon Beane. I don't think Sean McDermott has a big say with the Pegula family and the roster construction we see in a year in, year out basis. So where's Brandon Beane taking his responsibility? Where's the number 1 receiver for Josh? Why do we get people like Dawson Knox hopped up? How many times do we have to hear Dawson Knox is awesome? Dawson Knox will be a top 5 tight end. How many times do we have to hear things like that? Brandon Beane has been a failure. He's been more of a failure than Sean McDermott at his job of GM. Let's be real about it. Let's be real. And I know you're limited by salary caps in this league. I know you just can't go out and spend like Jared Jones did in the early 90s. And Bartello did with the 49ers in the early 90s. But I do think Brandon Beane needs to be fired next. And if he isn't fired next, if he's leading this coaching search, I am worried if I'm a Bills fan. I am worried. Overall, I agree with getting rid of McDermott. I just think it's a year too late. I do. I've been saying the whole year, this coaching market, there's going to be a lot of coaching vacancies. There's not a lot of good offensive minds coming up in the league. There are some good defensive minds coming up, but don't you want to get an offensive mind? Last year, wouldn't Ben Johnson have loved to come in to Buffalo with Josh Allen and Cook? We saw what he's been able to do with Caleb Williams. This is a missed opportunity from the Buffalo Bills. Mcdermott deserved to be fired, no doubt. But Brandon Beane skating scot-free just feels and smells really, really dirty and really fucking slimy to me. Brandon Beane out if I'm a Bills fan. And if Brandon Beane gets away with this, with his job scotch-free, Bills fans better say something because this ain't fucking right.